Some say love, it is a river that drowns the tender reed. Some say love, it is a razor that leaves your soul to bleed. Some say love, it is a hunger, an endless aching need. I say love, it is a flower, and you, it's only seed. It's the heart afraid of breaking that never learns to dance. It's the dream afraid of waking that never takes the chance. It's the one who won't be taken, who cannot seem to give, and the soul afraid of dying that never learns to live. The night has been too lonely and the road has been too long, and you think that love is only for the lucky and for the strong. Just remember, in the winter, far beneath the bitter snows, lies the seed that with the sun's love in the spring becomes the rose.
That was beautiful, Deidrey. Thank you. So love. Somebody go bar the doors, because I came up here with my Bible and I know that somebody's going to try and leave. Anybody read the title of today's message? Y'all remember that? Anybody look at it? Yeah. Lord's a-leaping. These are the things we're going to talk about that carol. We're not. Lord's a-leaping. We're going to do some metaphysics today. Aren't you excited? Some of you are, some of you are not. We've been talking about Matthew and the Christmas story. But today we're going to turn and we're going to look at the Gospel of Luke. And what Luke has to say about this time of year and this Christmas story, and look at what's important from the Gospel of Luke about our lives as we get ready to bring forth the Christ of our being. See if I know who's going to raise their hand. Who's been going home and reading Mark? Yeah. I'm sorry, Luke. Luke, we're not reading Mark, we're reading Luke. Yeah, see, Matthew, Mark, Luke. I'm getting it right. Luke. Do y'all remember that Luke is dedicated to Theophilus? Theophilus? Yeah. Do you know that word, Theo? Some of you know Theo. It's like you know it from theist or atheist, those that don't believe in God. Do you know Philus? Philus? Somebody speaks Greek or Latin, I'm sure. This is about, this is a gospel that is dedicated to those who love God, those who are friends with God, those who partner with divine mind. That's pretty deep. This is written specifically for the people who want to partner with divine mind in shaping their experience of the events of this incredible adventure of life. And so it's important to remember that, because if you read this without being centered in your love, it's not going to make a lot of sense. And do you remember back when we talked about Matthew, it started out with Joseph having some dreams because he was going to, he's going to silently, quietly put Mary away and not marry her because she was already with child. And the angel in his dream said, yeah, don't do this. And so what we know at the beginning of Luke, it's not about Joseph and Mary. It's about Zacharias and Elizabeth. You remember Zacharias and Elizabeth? Zacharias is a priest. He's part of the priestly faction. And as is the manner of the priest, he's to go into the temple of the Lord and light incense. Not everyone gets to go into the temple of the Lord. It's hidden behind a veil. And so you have to cross behind these curtains to go back there to light the incense and to pray. And so he's back there. And Gabriel shows up. Remember Gabriel? Metaphysically, Gabriel is the divine I am showing up to direct our humanness, because we are fully human, yes? But Gabriel shows up to direct our humanness, how to live from the truth of who we are, to be in the truth of who we are. And so Gabriel shows up and tells Zacharias, hey, I know you're getting on in years, but you've been wanting a child, and so here's what's going to happen. Your wife is going to bear you a son. And instead of being excited, Zacharias says, she's getting on up there in age. So was he, right? She's getting on up there in age, and how can I really trust that this is the truth? And so Gabriel says, because you have doubted me, you are going to be silent until this baby is born, until you know the truth. So Zacharias comes out from, he's been in there a while, and all the priests are wondering, what's going on with him? Where is Zacharias? So finally he stumbles out, and he can't talk. Have you ever had an encounter where it was so crystal clear to you what the truth was that you could not talk about it? Ooh. Gabriel comes to visit us all when we pay attention. And sometimes we don't need to talk about it. Charles Fillmore used to tell people, when you set about your prayer life and you are working to manifest the experience of your life with your thoughts and your feeling nature, you don't need to go around and talk about what's going to happen. There are a bunch of doubters in the world that are going to poo-poo on your ideas. That ain't really going to happen. That's not the way. Do you really want that? That's why we keep things in quiet. We get struck silent, not because we are struck dumb, because sometimes there's some other dumb things happening in the world. So Zacharias is silent. And Elizabeth ends up pregnant. She hides away for 5 months. Right? Because she's an old woman. She's like, oh, wait, what are people going to say? What are people going to say? Right? We remember that, Gabriel went and told Joseph, hey, you don't need to worry about what people are going to say. Right? And so she gets a visit, and she is told, you're going to have this baby, and this baby is coming to get the nation of Israel ready to know the Lord. That's pretty heavy to hear that about the child that you're carrying, yes? About the same time, Mary's, according to Matthew, Mary's getting a visit where, she's being told, hey, this child is pretty special. Do y'all know that Mary and Elizabeth are cousins? Mary and Elizabeth are cousins, and so while Elizabeth is pregnant, Mary comes to see her, and she says, she salutes her, she greets her, she offers her salutations. She comes in to say, oh, my dearest cousin, I love you so much. And the baby leaps. Lord's a leaping. The baby leaps at the sound of Mary's voice, because this child knows that Mary carries the divine idea of mankind. Now, it's interesting to know that these are not just characters in a story. These are all characters within us, within our consciousness. See, we make the way. I skipped this part. Elizabeth has her baby, and they're like, what are you going to name the baby? And she goes, we're going to name this baby John. And all the priests are like, no, that's not one of your family names. You have to name the baby after the family. It should be like little Zacharias. And Zacharias grabs a tablet and he writes, his name is John. And suddenly Zacharias can talk again. His name is John. This is not John the disciple, This is John the Baptist. John the Baptist, who is coming to prepare the way for the Christ of our being. So John the Baptist is part of who we are in this moment as we are preparing the way. Zacharias is the wisdom of our soul, right? The soul is this separate piece of what is showing up in the world that is the intellectual wisdom. Anybody that has some intellectual wisdom and spirituality, they kind of look at some of us like we have lost our minds. But see, that intellectual wisdom shows up to recognize Joseph, our spiritual wisdom. See, our intellectual wisdom partners with our intellectual love, our presence of love as separate from. There's a lot of loving that is separate and not understanding our oneness. But when we live from the Mary of our consciousness, we love because there is no other. There is only I am. Right, that goes back to that divine spark. That second principle that Patty read for us this morning, that place where our self-confidence comes, because we know that I am is breathing us now. And so these two different kinds of wisdom and love, they come together so that intellectually we can make way to live from the truth of who we are. Right? And living from the truth of who we are is not just about living from the head. Right? Living from the truth of who we are means that we have to follow that star to the east to live from our heart. Not the individualized love, the kind of love that we have in couples and for our children, right? But that kind of love where we even love those people that we struggle with liking in the world. Maybe I'm the only one that struggles with that. Do you have somebody you struggle with liking somebody? We're called to love one another. And so on this third Sunday of Advent, we have an invitation to love. Not from our heads, not from, I should love that person because society tells me I should. But loving from the truth of who we are, loving because this is me. I am that I am. I am that I am. I am that I am. And so we get to step into that experience. Because stepping into that experience leads us to next week when we get to talk about joy. Because of the Christ of your being. Christ as you is waiting to come into the world. Not just on December 25th, but every day, every time you take a breath, the Christ is here waiting for you to live from that truth. And so it is. I love you, friends.
Thank you so much, Rev Todd. You always inspire. You always just lift and remind us of who we are. You know, why we're here. Thank you. In this moment, in this place, I remember who I am, letting fear and worry fall away from me. I open my eyes and I see there is only love. There is only love. Love that heals. Love that sets us free. There is only love. When it seems I've lost my way, when I go inside and I quiet my mind, I hear Spirit gently say, there is only love. There is only love that heals, love that sets us free. There is only love. There is only sets us free. There is only love. I am love. Love is all that I am.